Today on Monkey Life, there's tragic news for the park with the loss of a hugely admired, much loved and key member of the team.
Right, Stacey, I want to listen to his heart.
As Alison and Jeremy pay tribute to their colleague, highly respected, world-renowned wildlife vet, John Lewis.
It's a serious blow, not only for us, but globally for wildlife conservation. This is a very sad, sad loss.
I mean, everybody had heard of John, and he got a reputation that I didn't think he'd be able to live up to be honest with you. But I was wrong, because he surpassed it, by far.
Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
She's alert, looking around. Quiet though, which is nice. All good.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 24 different species. The park is in mourning, following some truly devastating news. Wildlife vet John Lewis, for so long a crucial component in the health and welfare of all Monkey World's primates, has died, following a short and unexpected illness. Admired by all who knew and worked with him, he was at the top of his profession.
We didn't expect John's passing. Nobody could have. And it's caught Jeremy and I off guard. It's a serious blow. It's a serious blow, not only for us, the park as a whole, our work in Vietnam, everything, but globally for wildlife conservation. This is a very sad, sad loss.
John first became involved with Monkey World just 2 years after Alison's late husband, Jim Cronin, set up the centre in 1987. Jim and Jeremy realised they needed the help of a specialist wildlife veterinarian to deal with the individual and unique circumstances of their primate rescues. At the time, they were concentrating on chimpanzees confiscated from Spanish beach photographers, and John was vital to their success.
Yeah, he was totally the right choice, and he just happened to be a fantastic guy as well. I mean, everybody had heard of John, and he got a reputation that I didn't think he'd be able to live up to be honest with you. But I was wrong, because he surpassed it, by far. Anything veterinary went through John, but he just became like part of the furniture and a really good friend, and, you know, he's part of Monkey World.
It was the start of a special relationship that lasted more than 30 years.
With John's expertise, it became very clear very quickly that he was going to be Monkey World's overseeing veterinary advisor. And indeed, all of these years later, you know, 30 or more years later, that's what he's been doing for the park. And he was always up for the challenge and, you know, helped us in so many unique situations with so many unique primate welfare cases.
John's support, in both a professional capacity and a personal one, was immense. He regularly accompanied Alison to Vietnam to visit the park's sister sanctuary at Dau Tien, where he was on hand to help and advise with gibbon and loris releases.
I would have thought they were good to go tomorrow.
He also performed checkups and procedures on primates rescued and cared for by the team on the island.
Well, we get another fan on him anyway, and then have the bucket of cold water ready.
I suppose if there's anything I need to do moving forward, I need to improve that little veterinary surgery on Dau Tien and John's memory, because that does make me sort of laugh a bit.
Job done, really.
But it was his help and expertise with numerous worldwide rescues over the years that made him an integral part of the park's work.
Let's give it a once over.
Some of the circumstances were difficult, to say the least, that we rescued apes from. And he was always prepared for it because our rescues are unpredictable. And he always took it, and he took it really well. And that was the important thing, that we had him there always to be helping look after the lives of our rescued primates.
John was renowned for his expertise in primate anaesthesia.
Okay, gas.
And performed many major surgical procedures at the park's hospital with the calm professionalism for which he was celebrated.
Tibias are a bit wonky.
Having John be happy and able to work with the raft of different human doctors that we've brought in, from dealing with hemorrhoid removal to tumors to whatever the circumstance might be, John was always really very happy to engage with and work with other people whose specialist knowledge might bring something to the party. There was never any ego involved, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that just made me love him even more.
Away from Monkey World, John was a founder and veterinary advisor of Wildlife Vets International and a key partner of the International Zoo Veterinary Group. He worked with tigers and rare Amur leopards, as well as primates and other wild animals. His death is a huge loss for wildlife conservation, and he'll be missed by colleagues at home and abroad.
It really isn't even possible to sort of just state in words how important John was to the health and welfare of the animals here at the park. His care and dedication to the smallest detail of our animals' care was extraordinary. But make no mistake, this is going to be a very heavy and sad task moving forward without John.
I think, like I said to the people at his funeral, that this is going to be a tough act to follow. In fact, I think it's going to be an impossible act to follow, and I think that covers it, really.
John's final visit to the park came only days before his death, when he partnered with local vet Dave Harding to perform life-saving surgery on Jestah, one of the park's original chimps, who he'd known since the beginning. Jestah needed major surgery to remove a large cancerous tumour from his bottom lip.
We're going to have to end going sort of right in here.
Because the whole of that lip is going to have to go.
The operation was a huge success, and the chimp's recovery has been remarkable. He's now back outside with his troop, and the wound is healing well.
We're really happy with his progress. The team are doing an amazing job in terms of his post-operative care. So we're monitoring the lip very closely. We're actually photographing it daily so that we can monitor the healing process and any changes to that area. He's eating and drinking a lot better. He's clearly more comfortable. And he's actually tolerating some topical cream as well, so that's really good. So overall, we're really pleased with him.
Come on, bud. Come on, good boy.
It's incredible when you look at it, just, you know, how successful the surgery was. You know, he's still able to close his mouth, and obviously for chimps, they make a lot of facial expressions, which are really important in terms of communicating with the rest of the group. So, you know, he's got full use of that mouth again, and he's clearly so much happier.
Regular training sessions mean care team member Becky can ask Jestah to present his mouth so she can administer an antibiotic gel.
Good boy, Jestah. Well done.
He's off all oral medication. It's just a case of a little bit of cream on that lip morning and evening. Daily photos, so delighted that hopefully this will give him many more years as a member of the Bachelor group.
The chimp's uncertain future was transformed by the complicated operation overseen by John, just one of the very many life-saving interventions he performed at the park over the course of 30 years. The barn woolly monkeys are in for a barrow load of fun this morning. The primate care team enjoy coming up with new ideas to keep the primates at the park interested and active. And today's enrichment challenge involves straw baskets filled with some of their favourite foods. Chippy's group of 6 are the lucky recipients.
So the idea is that we're going to suspend these up high, get some ladders in there, see how high we can get them. We'll put it in hard to reach areas, so they'll have to actually use their tail to cling on and possibly reach certain different angles, and hopefully we can see them natural behaviours that we would do in the wild.
A strong core and great balance are the key to procuring this treat. Secured with strings so they constantly swing, the baskets will prove a movable feast. But woolly monkeys do have one big advantage.
They've got prehensile tails, so that tail is incredibly strong. It's so muscly, and it's how they get around quite easily. They can use it as an extra limb, hang on to a branch, and they can reach across to various different areas, all them hard to get fruits and things like that.
It promises to be a good workout for the woolies. Leader Chippy leads them out. He's one of 2 males in the group. The other is teenager Zavi. The troop has had a bit of a shake-up recently, with 2 of the younger boys, Cassius and Lemmy, moving to the bachelor woolies. The result has been a much more settled environment at Chippy's. Completing the group are 4 females, Paquita, Quappa and young mum Ava, along with her 8-month-old daughter, Catalina. There's lots of excited trilling as the group spot the hanging baskets and take on the task. Delve in deep enough and the woolies will find chopped up pieces of pear and bits of cereal, both favourites on these woolly monkeys' menu. Paquita gets straight to work, demonstrating how useful her prehensile tail is as an anchor. She uses it as a 5th limb and frees up her hands to reach into the basket. The group all show amazing agility as they conquer some of the more difficult, high-up hanging baskets. Chippy, however, does prefer to go for the easier option when it's available. Ava, with daughter Catalina clinging on, begins her quest for a nutritional treat. In the wild, woolly babies learn from their mums, watching closely to see what food is safe to eat, and often picking up leftover scraps. The team have spread some food around the enclosure for Catalina to find. She's a bit young to figure out the baskets, and mum might not let her try, but at least she'll be able to find some food for herself.
Ava's quite a protective mum, so it took a while for Catalina to find her feet because she'd always bring her back close to her. But she's doing really well now. Often you'll see Catalina off and about, and it's really nice to see her climbing around now.
At 8 months old, the youngster is gaining a little independence. The low-growing bushes and trees are a perfect place for her to learn to explore. It's helping to build up her balance and muscles, all under the watchful eye of mum Ava. Even at such a young age, the little woolly monkey has learned to use her tail to help her negotiate the branches. But reaching up to one of the hanging baskets might be a step too far. It's tantalisingly out of reach. But finally, her persistence pays off. And while mum Ava relaxes in the sunshine, Catalina is never far away, still exploring, learning and loving life. Another group who love the sunshine are the park's 5 squirrel monkeys. They're about to be given a challenging form of enrichment not dissimilar to Chippy's troop, but on a smaller scale, in keeping with their slighter form. Keris from the primate care team is busy filling a collection of balls with one of the squirrel monkeys' favourite foods, live mealworms.
They absolutely love bugs. I'm just sprinkling them around it, hopefully like they all
find the gaps and kind of burrow into the balls here. And then it'll, with their little hands, I'm hoping that it's a bit more difficult for them, so it will, prolong the enrichment for them and make them work harder for their bugs.
The balls are made of natural fibres with lots of holes in them, perfect for the larva to crawl into, and just large enough for the squirrel monkeys to use their small, nimble fingers to get them out again. To make the dining experience just that bit more difficult, the balls are being suspended high up around the enclosure. The group are let out, and it's the 3 common squirrel monkeys, Lucille, Lopez and Logan, who are first on the scene. They're immediately curious about the spherical feeders. The first to spot the mealworms is youngster Lopez. He has no trouble picking off those still on the outside and uses his dexterity to reach and tackle another insect-laden ball. As well as the 3 common squirrel monkeys, there are 2 black-capped, Nueve and Old Lady Turvey. Despite her balance and agility not being quite as it was, she still makes a concerted effort, although not successful this time. Logan tries a different technique, using core strength in his back legs to cling on and attack the balls from underneath. As he reconsiders his tactics, below, Lucille makes her way through the undergrowth and selects a lower-hanging feeder. Squirrel monkeys are small and able to balance on flimsy branches to hunt and forage. Young female Nueve comes up empty-handed and isn't helped by a gung-ho approach from Lopez, which almost knocks her off the hose. The insect-laden hanging feeders have encouraged all 5 squirrel monkeys to search for the grubs, hunting and foraging as they would in the wild. Even elderly Turvey has tried her best, although impish youngster Lopez doesn't give her much opportunity, moving her on so he can muscle in. But the care team have also distributed pieces of fresh pineapple, and they're tops with Turvey. The last 18 months have been difficult for wildlife centres and sanctuaries across the country. The COVID pandemic has meant they've been forced to keep their gates shut, meaning income from visitors has dried up. But at the park in Dorset, donations from supporters all over the world have continued to arrive and helped keep the park running. Many practical donations have come in large delivery boxes, and instead of recycling them straight away, the orangutan team have been saving them up for a rather special treat.
We're building a giant cardboard tower for the orangutans to come and have a lot of fun in. Never had as many cardboard boxes as we've got in here right now, so I think they're going to either be a little bit scared of it when they first come in, or they're going to go absolutely crazy and go through every box and tear it up, but certainly there'll be a mess at the end of the day.
Hundreds of boxes are being stacked up in the middle of the enclosure. Some are empty, and others contain the primates' breakfast. They'll have to search through each box to forage for their food. It takes the team almost 2 hours to build the box mountain. The orangutans have a grandstand view from the outside tunnels, and their curiosity is piqued. They're not sure what's going on, but they're about to find out. There's a lot of excitement as the group of 5 rush out together. There are so many boxes, no one can miss out. Sylvester establishes himself at the peak of the pile, while Oisin remains at base camp, working her way through the boxes on the ground. The least amount of effort to obtain the most amount of food is always her preference. Hidden inside are pieces of apple and carrot and whole walnuts. Oh, and the odd rubber duck toy for the youngsters to enjoy. Or not. The group gets stuck in, sending boxes flying everywhere. As the tower gradually shrinks in size. 6-year-old Rika boxes clever and comes up with a handful of walnuts. Her best friend Bulu Mata has a different technique, suspending himself above the pile just like young orangutans should and reaching down to find the snacks. It's an approach that might benefit Mimi, the youngest in the group. She's almost vanished inside the huge mound. The nursery is a great place for an orphaned youngster to grow and mature.
They all come here to learn things off of each other. They learn how to be an orangutan by being around one another. So it's a big social aspect of this today as well. Some of the babies might be learning a few tricks off of the older ones, Oisin and Sylvester, with how to get into the boxes, how to eat certain foods and things like that. So it certainly is a learning curve for all of them, just by watching each other and seeing what they're doing as well.
And the younger ones begin to understand their place in the group.
With the different ages, there does have to be an element of respect in the group. For example, Sylvester will grab a big box. There's no way that Bulu, Rika or Mimi will take that box off him, not to say that they won't try. So there's certain things that they'll learn with behaviour with regards to what to do and what not to do in the orangutan environment here at Monkey World as well.
The box tower has been almost flat-packed by the orang's enthusiasm for the task. Oisin and Mimi have moved on to a play session on a carpet of cardboard. While, just like children everywhere, the others relish the fun of hiding, sitting in, and generally amusing themselves with an empty cardboard box.
If any group in this park knows how to have fun, it certainly is the orangutan nursery. They're all fooling about with the boxes, jumping in them, carrying them on their heads, doing all sorts of things. This isn't really so much of a behaviour enrichment thing, it's just all about fun for them this morning. Lots to do. They would obviously forage in amongst things in the wild, but this is all about fun for them, as you can see behind me.
But it might be less fun for the primate care team, who still have the job of clearing up the cardboard carnage left behind. Next time on Monkey Life. Alison's on an emergency mission to the Midlands to collect a Jeffroy's marmoset separated from his sibling.
So the other one, where did it go?
We don't know where he's ended up. He got sold on to somebody else and then he's been sold on since.
And Seamus bags a bounty of fruit for breakfast.